All right, welcome to the 33rd edition of the Sports Mashup show. All the world of sports, discussions, and such. October 13th is today's date, and the sports are really happening at this point. You know, you got the NFL, you got college football, you got the NBA starting next week, you got college basketball in about a month, you got the NHL starting last night. But we start in the MLB postseason as well, by the way, and golf season started a few weeks ago. But we start in the NBA. A few items here. The Nets finally show that they have the stones to tell Kyrie Irving that he can't play until he's vaccinated. Now, I think this is an ownership thing. I think Joe Tsai, who's the owner of the Nets, took over a couple years ago. I think he prefers that this not be the case. Now, here's the thing with Kyrie.
So wait, he's not even. They're saying that he can't. He's not even going to be able to play on the road.
I believe that that's the way they're going right now. I'm pretty sure that they're pretty much saying, if you're not vaccinated, we don't really want you to play.
Well, because I mean, you can't practice with them, so you don't be able to practice with them like the day of the game.
Yeah, and this could change. I mean, he could end up playing some games. I don't know. The whole thing's weird. One thing that I hate about this is that Kyrie's saying that he's against the vaccine mandates, which is fine, whatever. He's apparently fighting for those people. But here's the thing. He had the chance to say that this is why – he kept saying it was a personal choice when they were asking him. He had a chance to say that this is why he was doing this, to stand up against the vaccine mandates, who the vaccine mandates in New York are being put in by politicians that I guarantee he supported. But it makes no sense, the entire thing. I mean, I think this is a weird – if you're Kevin Durant and James Harden, you got to be annoyed about this, right? I mean –
yeah. Well, I think a lot of this whole mandate thing, though, not even just in the NBA, though. Like, I have a buddy who works at TSA at an airport, and now they are mandating them to get the vaccine, and if they don't get it, they're going to be fired.
That's what the big thing is with the vaccine mandates, people fighting against people losing their jobs for it. And my view on it is that I don't necessarily agree with the mandates, but I agree with getting the vaccine. I mean, I have it, so but I know that it's a personal choice for people, but it's just the entire thing. It makes no sense because as a league, you only have 3 teams that are affected by these vaccine mandates: the Warriors, the Nets, and the Knicks. I mean, it's weird. It's like how a player can be unvaccinated. Let's say they play for the Grizzlies and they're unvaccinated, but they can go to New York where there's a vaccine mandate, but they can play. It just the entire thing makes no sense. So I think this is going to be
I thought the whole league still had to be vaccinated. If anybody goes and plays in New York, they don't have to be vaccinated. Only
if they're on the road team, yeah.
Well, that's stupid.
The entire thing makes no sense. And I think this is going to be a big story. And another story is Ben Simmons returning to the Sixers. What a joke. I've never seen a player with less leverage try to force his way out. Like, number one, he's not good. Number two, the team's going to ask for too much because of what they've invested in him. And number three, his contract's terrible. The Sixers are going to be really bad this year. I don't care. I mean, they might have a good record just because Embiid's there, but they're not going to be anywhere near a contender.
Yeah, but can he stay healthy?
Even Embiid, I mean, it's.
No, I mean, he gets hurt.
He does, yeah.
For at least a month and a half of the season.
But he's so good when he plays. I think that they're going to win most of the games that he plays. And they have guys there other than Embiid. I mean, I don't really count Simmons because he's a joke in most departments of the game. I mean, he's good defensively, but other than that, he doesn't fit into the modern NBA as a guard at all. So, yeah, it hurts him. I don't know. The Sixers, they're not going to be.
No, and I heard LeBron's trying to recruit J.J. Redick to come out of retirement.
I didn't know the Lakers needed more players.
He wants his Mike Miller, his white guy 3-point shooter.
We'll see what happens. I mean, if I'm J.J. Redick, I think I'm good on that, you know.
Yeah, let me come out of retirement to join AD, Russ, and LeBron.
Yeah, why not? We'll see.
The season. While we're in the NBA, too, we could talk about J.R. Smith making his debut in collegiate golf.
I know his score was a little rough, but he looked pretty good out there. I mean, looks like a golfer. Looks like he knows what he's doing.
That's still ridiculous. I mean, the guy doesn't go to college. He goes to the NBA at high school. And what age is he?
37 or something at this point, right?
And he's, a freshman in college?
I guess, yeah. Nothing makes sense anymore, though. So.
I mean, I thought there used to be an age limit where you couldn't play college sports after so long. Like, if they granted you, like, if you went to the military first for 4 years, then you could play 4 after that.
Well, I think golf is different because, like, look at the professional athlete golfers these days. Like there's a Champions Tour, so you have guys that are 50 and 60 years old, professional golfers still. So I think that makes a difference. Like if LeBron was trying to go back to college and play basketball, I don't think they would let him. So the season does start next Tuesday on TNT, I believe. The Nets and Bucks, followed by the Warriors and the Lakers. So a couple of good matchups there. And by the way, you were right. The 4 favorites to win the NBA championship are the pretty much those 4 teams. 4. Yeah. And then outside of that, I think the Jazz and Suns are right after them. So, and then you have the Clippers. And
Denver's not in that at all?
I think they're somewhere in the mix, probably in the top 10 in odds. I didn't really look beyond like the top 7, but I think the Jamal Murray thing will play a big factor as to whether they will be a legitimate contender. So on to the NFL. Week 5 happened, and I put 6 on the thing because I'm an idiot. Week 5 went down. Thursday Night Football. Russell Wilson gets hurt. He's going to miss some time with that finger injury. He hit it off of Aaron Donald's hand, I believe. Geno Smith, QB1 there. They'll play Sunday night this week against the Steelers. So.
He looked good.
He did, but there's got to be – I mean, I think with an entire week of defenses preparing for him, I think they're going to have some issues there. But honestly –
there's also limited tape on him with that offense.
Yeah, that's true. But just like that division for Seattle was kind of a lose-lose situation because everyone in there is better than them. And they're still – the Niners questionable. But
yeah, because who's starting for them this week?
The Niners?
Or they have a bye.
Yeah, I think Trey Lance is the guy until Garoppolo's back, right?
Didn't Trey Lance just get hurt?
I thought he got hurt, but I didn't think it was that serious. I don't know who else they have there. Is Beathard still there?
I thought they released him, because I thought Kittle was mad about it because wasn't that his college quarterback?
Yeah, they both went to Iowa. That is correct. While you're looking for that, the Falcons beat the Jets in London. The Jets' first quarter woes continue. They were terrible. With Zach Wilson threw a really bad pick. They couldn't cover Kyle Pitts. That's what it comes down to. Cordero Patterson continues to tear it up in fantasy football. I believe he's got 50-something points for me. I've had him for 2 games. The Packers and the Bengals in one of the most absurd football games I've ever watched. As a Packer fan myself, I mean, good Lord, roller coaster. A missed field goal fest between Mason Crosby and Evan McPherson.
As a Packers fan, what was that like watching all those missed field goals?
I thought there was moments there where I was surprised that I didn't drop dead. I mean, my Lord, that is just absurd. I mean, I can't believe that, number one, Crosby was missing as many as he has. I know the wind was confusing, it appeared, because it was hard to throw. I mean, you could see Rodgers when he threw that pick in the first quarter, that thing just sailed. That did not go where he thought it was going to go. And I mean, Evan McPherson is a rookie. I think the hilarious thing was the last one that he missed. He thought he made it, was celebrating. That was embarrassing. Welcome to the NFL, I guess. And he already had 2 games.
He turns around and he's like pointing, and the whole offensive line's going crazy.
It hit the flag, so it wasn't there. But yeah, I can't believe they won that game. I mean, they had so many opportunities to score more points, and the offense was struggling. But it'd be interesting to see the Packers and Bears this week. I don't know. I always approach Bears games weirdly because it's a big rivalry. Everybody knows that. Clearly, the Packers have owned them for a long time. But it's just like a shock to the system when they lose to the Bears. So I wonder if they'll lose that game. That'll be interesting.
So Trey Lance, he suffered a left knee sprain during the game.
A lot of these young quarterbacks got to learn to stop running into contact. Like Trey Lance got bodied at the goal line the other day. And Joe Burrow got bodied in that game against Green Bay.
I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, he missed the past game and a half due to a calf contusion.
Yeah, it's less serious than they thought, so I'm assuming Garoppolo will be back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and then what I saw, Burrow he's doing something where he's not talking or something.
It was like a throat contusion or something. I don't know when that happened, but he got drilled in one of those plays and went off the sideline for a minute.
He's on voice rest.
Yeah, he's got like a
throat contusion.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird, but I'm sure he'll be fine. They play the Lions this week. Speaking of the Lions choked away a lead with less than 40 seconds left of the Vikings. The aggressive play by Dan Campbell to go for 2 after they scored that touchdown, and it looked like it was going to work, and then they choked it.
Dan Campbell crying afterwards, showing that he's in there.
Yeah, I think eventually they're going to win. I don't think they'll beat the Bengals this week, but maybe. Maybe.
They're competing with a lot of teams that people didn't think they were going to be able to compete with.
Yeah, it helps having a veteran quarterback there, if we want to call Goff that at this point, which I think he's been in the league for a long enough time to say he's close to that.
Two good running backs.
Yeah, Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, very good. I know Quintez Cephas is hurt now, so that's really going to hurt them at receiver, but they have Hawkinson there. They're good enough to win a game. I think they'll win 2 or 3, but they've hung around with most teams. They hung around in Green Bay for the first half, and then that got away. But then this game, you got to win. And the Vikings are a weird team. Like, they should probably be 3-2 or 4-1. But
yeah, they've been without Dalvin Cook the last 2 games.
Yeah, that hurts. They couldn't score against the Browns after the first drive.
Because Madison is not Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and remember, Greg Joseph missed like a 30-something yarder to beat the Cardinals, and they lost. So Arizona should not be 5-0, but they are. And I'll just scroll down to them real quick. They're 5-0. They beat the Niners. They continue to win. I think this week, we'll see. Might be the end of the road for them, according to my picks, but we'll see. Let's see. Steelers offense wakes up as they beat the Broncos. Juju Smith-Schuster gets hurt, out for the season. He had surgery. Don't even remember the injury at this point, but he's done. So that's probably it for him in Pittsburgh, you'd think. And there's still more buzz every week about Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. Oh, man. It's week 5. Can we not do this? I didn't think we'd be doing this all season. I hope we don't, but we'll see. Your team, the Dolphins suck. Let's be honest. And Brady was dominant. He did whatever he wanted to do. Brady's probably not going to win MVP this year, but he's going to get a lot of votes. I think someone's going to emerge. I think Josh Allen could get it. We'll see, though. Brady's got the numbers right now. He's got, I think, 15 touchdowns. So they continue to win. Hail Mary was successful in the first half of the Saints-Washington game. The Saints won that game by 11, 33-22. Nice win for them. The Eagles completed a fourth-quarter comeback over the Panthers. The Panthers, another choke there. That's not good. They're now 3-2. The Titans dominated the Jaguars, who continue to suck. I wouldn't be surprised if Urban Meyer's gone soon. Patriots, Dave Mills. I know his name's Davis, but I'm calling him Dave. Some people call him Doug. Quarterback for the Texans had a very good game against Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick usually, historically, dominates against rookie quarterbacks, but Dave Mills was good in this game. They only lost by 3.
And we both picked the Patriots in that, didn't we?
Well, I thought it was a layup cover against a rookie quarterback. It was, 9.5 or something, 7.5, 8.5, somewhere around there. So,
Juju is a right shoulder injury.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of money he's going to get in free agency. Because he signed the 1 year in Pittsburgh, and now he's probably on his way out.
Yeah, the Pats was 9 points.
It's a lot, yeah. But it felt like a layup. Bears.
Yeah, because after Houston just lost 40-0.
Yeah, and the Belichick history against rookie quarterbacks is very successful.
And the Patriots just played the Bucs good. Yeah, it was in horrible weather, but
yeah. The problem with the Patriots is the Bucs game and the Jets game are like the only 2 games they've showed up this year, and they ended up winning a game they didn't really show up in against Houston, and then they got destroyed by New Orleans.
It's like they can't find a balance between the pass and run game.
Yeah, and I think obviously consistency on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, they did not wake up for Miami. They lost that game. That's brutal. Week 1 loss in Foxborough to a Miami team that looks horrendous. Yeah, and the Jets, they're always going to beat the Jets if Belichick's there. It's not fair. But the Bears defense is very good. Bears and Browns defense, even though the Browns defense was not good this week, Bears defense dominated the Raiders in what would eventually be Gruden's last game there, 20-9. We'll get to that in a moment. Chargers won a shootout over the Browns, which is surprising because Browns defense looked like they were going to be like one of those elite number 1 defenses in the league. And I think they still can be that, but man, Justin Herbert is so good. If you're a Dolphins fan, you got to be just so annoyed about this because, man, Tua can't stay healthy. Herbert is an absolute stud. 5 touchdowns. Just you look at my January tweets before that draft. I said Herbert was the best quarterback in the draft. Not going to go any further than that, but appears as if I'm correct. But Burrow is good. Cowboys, they look good. They beat up the Giants. Giants are beat up, though.
Yeah, they literally beat them up.
Yeah. Daniel Jones looked like he was about to collapse or whatever after that concussion. And then Saquon Barkley.
Saquon ankle, Daniel Jones
Galladay.
And Galladay with the knee, I believe.
They already had, I think Shepard was already out. Kadarius Toney had a great game, then punched DeMonte Casey in the helmet, got kicked out. So,
and then I didn't know that Glennon was the backup there now.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He wasn't that bad. You're going to expect him to throw a couple picks.
With the limited receiving core that he had.
Yeah, and the Cowboys' defense is not that bad. Not as bad as it was. And Trevon Diggs, 6 picks now.
The Giants' offensive line is horrible.
Yeah, it's not good. The Bills won in dominant fashion after there was a delay for over an hour at halftime due to lightning at Arrowhead.
I fell asleep like right after the second half restarted.
Yeah, Mahomes was not good. The Bills look really good, though. They've really shown up since they lost week 1 to the Steelers. So they've kind of done the opposite of the Dolphins.
The Chiefs lose Clyde Edwards-Helaire for at least 3 weeks. They put him on IR.
Yep, that's a big loss.
Killed me in fantasy. And speaking of that, the guy who was playing this week at 8 o'clock in the morning still had Gronkowski and James White in his lineup, who were both inactive. 11:50. All of a sudden, here comes Emmanuel Sanders and Dallas Goedert, and I lose by 8 because Emmanuel Sanders all of a sudden it has like 8 catches for 100 and something yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Josh Allen was slinging it.
Because somebody decides to text the guy I'm playing, which I'm pretty sure was my brother, even though the week before my brother played this guy and he had 3 inactive players in.
That's a tough one. That's not the way you want to lose, but man. I know someone in our league had Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. So that's about 85 points because the Ravens came back and beat the Colts. Lamar Jackson, unreal. I mean, throws for over 400 yards, I think 5 incompletions, ran all over the place. Mark Andrews had a massive game, so Baltimore looks good.
Like 12 catches, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 2-point conversions.
Yeah, this is a prelude to what Lamar Jackson is going to do to the Packers when they play later in the season because the Packers defense has no chance of stopping him.
And that game definitely would have helped my fantasy because the guy had Justin Tucker as his kicker, and he only kicked 1 field goal.
Yeah. I had Mason Crosby as my kicker, so.
But the Colts, I mean, they blew it. They had that field goal blocked with a minute left or whatever.
And then Blankenship missed again.
Yarder. And then that goes up that one play. They had the punter out to kick a field goal, but Humphreys was offsides, and then Blankenship comes in to kick.
Something was wrong with him. I don't know. He was hurt, but they threw him back out.
What's their punter's name?
Rigoberto Sanchez.
Yeah, they had him kicking, and Nyheim Hines was the holder. And then after that offsides in the defense, Blankenship was in kicking.
Yeah, something was wrong with him. I don't know, but he missed, so brutal. NFL weekly awards. Offensive player of the week in the NFC, obviously Tom Brady. In the AFC, Lamar Jackson. Defensive players of the week in the NFC, Marshawn Lattimore of the Saints and Greg Rousseau of the Bills. And then special teams in the NFC, TJ Edwards, I believe, did some stuff. He's a linebacker, but he was playing on special teams. And then Nick Folk for the Patriots gets it there. So then we have division leaders after 5 weeks. In the NFC, I'm just guessing because I didn't even look at the standings. I just figured that I was correct. Cowboys, Packers, Bucks, Cardinals. AFC, Bills, Ravens, Titans. And then I did not edit this one, but I'm assuming I think it's the just the Chargers in the AFC West now. So you're going to get solo leaders after 5 weeks. And Gruden, we'll get to that for a minute. He resigns as the Raiders head coach after a series of emails from 2011 to 2018 came out. The Wall Street Journal, I believe, did this story.
Yeah,
he said a lot of things.
The Chargers are 4-1. The Raiders and Broncos are 3-2, and the Chiefs are at the bottom of that division, 2-3.
Yeah, I still think it's a matter of time before the Raiders and Broncos get passed up by the Chiefs. But anyway, John Gruden resigns as Raiders head coach. Says he doesn't want to be a distraction. I don't love the idea of digging up people's pasts and using it against them, but this was really bad. I think I didn't go.
I heard part of it during the long break when Dungy and them were talking about it, but I didn't hear exactly what it was. Not that we need to discuss it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I knew it was something like an email or something from like 2011.
That's how it started. He said some things about DeMaurice Smith, who was the NFL PA guy back then, said some things about him. And then allegedly the NFL wanted him to resign, so they just kept bringing up different emails. And the reason that this was found is because of the investigation into the Washington football team and the culture there. And they found these emails via Bruce Allen's email, who's the president of the team back in the day. That's where Gruden sent these emails. So Gruden got taken down as a result of Washington's investigation. So they weren't investigating Gruden. They found this through Washington. And then there was more emails that came out. He pretty much any race or person in the NFL at the high levels, he pretty much said something about.
And is this why Stephen A. Smith is saying that Goodell needs to handle the Washington football team?
Well, there's obviously an issue there, and the NFL kind of goes out of their way to defend it, which is ridiculous. Like, they pretty much released the Gruden emails, but then said they're not going to release any other emails from Washington. So they pretty much took down Gruden, but yet they're not doing anything about Dan Snyder, who's had tons of issues there with harassment and all kinds of stuff. So the NFL always, they're always so conscious about their image, but then they have this kind of stuff that goes down. So,
but hey, by the way, Tua practiced.
Maybe he'll be back. They need it because they do not look good. And so Rich Bisaccia will be the interim head coach for the Raiders.
And then if Fields can't play this weekend, who's the quarterback for the Bears?
I'm pretty sure he's playing. I think he said he's good to go. But I also think Andy Dalton's active again, because I think when Fields got hurt last week, Andy Dalton came in for a play.
But I'm sure you would rather Fields be the quarterback Sunday.
Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest. I think the Packers defense kind of blows anyway. They have tons of injuries. So I'm kind of just expecting the Packers offense is going to have to find it.
Don't say that, because I had to pick up the Packers defense this week.
They have gotten their fair share of takeaways. They had a couple picks last week.
Because San Fran's on a bye, and the Patriots are playing who did the Patriots play this week? Dallas.
Yeah.
Not playing that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The Packers defense, two best players are out. So Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith are both out. So
hey, but also after we talked about the Cowboys cutting
Jalen Smith.
Yeah. And you were talking about how bad he was, and then
we got him in.
You guys signed him.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of going to be like the third inside linebacker. They got Devondre Campbell's been a revelation there. He's been so good for the Packers. Chris Barnes has been pretty good too. And then Jalen Smith will play at some point, and he'll be in there. He's got familiarity with LaFleur, so it makes sense to.
I mean, he's an athlete.
Yeah, he's got to find something. He's too talented to not figure something out, but I don't know. We'll see. And then the Packers secondary is pretty ragtag. You got Eric Stokes, rookie corner, Kevin King hurt again. I'm sure he'll play, but he played reasonably well last week, even though he's not very good. They signed Quentin Dunbar. They signed Rasul Douglas. So they're really trying to figure something out. They also have Shamar Jean-Charles, who was just drafted playing there. And
I know you talked about Stokes after the draft, about him just being a speedster. But, like, in your opinion, how do you think he's looked?
I think he's looked very good, especially for what, like, the expectation is with a rookie corner. I mean, he's had some mistakes, obviously, that happens. But I think he's a lot like Jair Alexander in his ability to break up passes. And he's got speed. I mean, he's insanely fast. He's got to figure out some of the tackling stuff, but he made some really great plays against Jamar Chase, who still had a huge game, who's really good.
Because, I mean, you have two pretty good safeties.
Yeah, Savage and Amos are very solid.
And Amos came over from the Bears, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
And he's from Penn State.
Yes, and he's been very good for the Packers for the most part. He had a pick last week, so very good for him. All right, golf. Some of the big dogs getting back into it this week. And then we had last week an interesting tournament in Vegas.
Yeah, the Shriners Children's Open winner was Sung J M, won $1.25 million, shot 24 under. He shot 9 under on day 4 to win it. Yeah,
he's 23 years old and he's very good. So he's got 2 wins on tour already. I think he might be the next star.
And then this week, it's staying in Vegas.
Yep,
At
3
the
in a row.
CJ Cup, defending champion Jason Kokrak, is that how you say it?
I think it's Kokrak, yeah.
At the Summit Club in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, Kokrak got a couple wins last year. He won I think he won the Charles Schwab and this one. So, yeah, interesting tournament. You're going to have some of the big dogs back, and I think the top feature group is Koepka, Spieth, and Louis Oosthuizen. So a lot of the big players back. JT's back in the mix. Ricky Fowler, who isn't really a big-time player at this point. Hopefully he finds it. Hovland's in, I think. So we'll make our picks.
DJ's back.
Yeah, we'll make our picks for that later on in the episode. Let's get to a couple baseball things here. The Padres are officially firing Jace Tingler after 2 seasons, so the expectations are massive there. And I know they're looking into kind of every resource as to who they could hire next. I know they contacted Bruce Bochy, Buck Showalter, so they're really going all the way. And I think the one guy that needs to get a job again, out of all the guys that are not managing, that have managed in the past, Buck Showalter, I think, should get one because he's not that old. I think he's mid-60s, and he did a ton of winning in Baltimore, which is hard to do.
Yeah, I don't see Bochy coming back.
Yeah, I don't either.
If he was going back anywhere, he'd be going back to the Giants.
You would think so, and he retired, so I think that's
yeah.
It. I think they're just courtesy. I mean, he was there at one point in San Diego, but I just don't see it. ESPN also reported that Aaron Boone likely staying as the Yankees manager, which isn't – we don't know for sure. There's just one report, but Aaron Boone's also been mentioned as the Padres' potential guy. And here's the thing with that. If the Padres want to interview Aaron Boone and offer him a contract to go there, Aaron Boone should take it. I mean, no way he shouldn't. They got a ton of talent. San Diego's a way better place to live than the Bronx. I mean,
you think maybe the Padres look at Beltran?
I don't think Beltran's going to get a serious look until he gets another job as a lower level staff guy.
Like, is he doing anything now after
Not that I know of, no. Well, the reason why Cora and Hinch got back in is because they'd already been managers. And I think Alex Cora is one of the best managers in the game. And I think Hinch is good too. But Beltran, the only reason that I think he's been screwed here is because he didn't ever manage a game. So we'll see.
Now what you have Cora as an assistant for the Red Sox, right?
I think he's their manager. Yeah, he's the manager. Because last year they fired him, and then last year was Ron Renicky, and then they brought Cora back to be the manager this year.
So you have
guys play for him.
You have Correa going against Cora.
Yeah.
So going right into that, you had the Red Sox beat the Rays in 4. The Astros beat the White Sox in 4. So in the ALCS, you have Houston versus the Red Sox starting Friday.
Yep.
And then in the NL, you have last night the Braves beat the Brewers on a bomb from Freddie Freeman off Josh Hader.
Yeah, Josh Hader does not give up home runs, and then last night he did.
He does in big games.
That's true. A lot of Brewers players tend to do that. The Brewers really fell apart in September. And
then out of anybody on that team, well, Colton Wong, that might have been the worst bunt attempt with no outs and a guy on first.
I don't hate the idea of bunting there, but
it was a horrible attempt.
Yeah.
Like if anything, you got to pull that bat back. How low that ball was.
Yeah.
And then Yelich to strike out looking in an elimination game.
Yelich is not the same player. His back injuries he's had, he doesn't look the same.
And that's brutal. But I mean, you got to at least try swinging the bat there.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it wasn't like he was in the very bottom of the strike zone.
And the Brewers are locked into him for a long time. And it's not like they have a huge payroll. So that could be a damaging contract.
The Dodgers beat the Giants to force a Game 5. So the Braves are awaiting the winner of that series, which is tomorrow.
I'm assuming it's going to be Webb and Urias pitching.
I don't think so.
I'll check here. Yeah, it is Webb and Urias. So, I mean, Scherzer wasn't going to go on 2 days rest, and nobody else other than Webb has looked really good for them. Game 1, Webb was dominant. And I feel like I should apologize to the Giants in some way because I said the Dodgers were going to win in 3. Giants just play good baseball. Like, they're not a flashy, great team roster-wise, record-wise they are, but they just play good baseball. You see some of the plays Brandon Crawford makes to save runs and just the defense, Longoria hitting the home run, small ball type stuff. They're just a good baseball team. But at the end of the day, I think the Dodgers win this game.
And Crawford's been that consistent for his entire career.
Yeah, he earned a 2-year extension this season too from the Giants.
His sister is a heck of a player. who's also now married to Garrett Cole.
Yep. A lot of ties there.
What else was there that game? Oh, and a stat. I don't know if did you watch the game last night?
I mean, I watched a good amount of it. I was watching some of the hockey too.
I watched the beginning of it. There was a stat for postseason shutouts caught.
Yeah.
Yogi Berra had 7. Yachty has 8. Buster Posey has 14.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Buster Posey's obviously a Hall of Fame catcher, and he's had a great season.
It's nice seeing him back being an everyday catcher.
Yeah.
And be able to play as long as he has after that horrible injury he took.
Yeah. I mean, it helps having Bumgarner, what Bumgarner was doing back in the day in the postseason.
Who was that other starter? Lincecum?
Lincecum, Matt Cain as well. Yeah, they've had a lot of really good starters.
What was their closer?
Well, they had Brian Wilson for a little bit.
That's they was to do with the black beard.
Yeah. Also, Sergio Romo was very good there. But, yeah, they've had a lot of really good baseball players there, and they're proving it this year. We'll see. I mean, Braves, Dodgers, Braves, Giants, either way, I think it'll be a good series. If it's Braves, Dodgers, it'll be a rematch of last season, which was a series that was played in Texas, so it's nice to have it, in a normal spot now. So we'll see.
The Braves are doing this without arguably one of their best players.
Ronald Acuna Jr., yeah, that's very impressive. Brian Snitker was a guy who people wanted fired midseason, and here they are. So we'll see if they can actually get over the hump, because they've had a lot of trouble getting over the hump for 20 years. Like, all they do is win the division, and then lose.
Well, who else is in their division?
Mets, Nationals, Phillies, a lot of really inconsistent teams is in their division. So
yeah,
we'll see. I feel like the Phillies are going to be good next year, though. But anyway, on to the NHL. Last night, opening night, the ragtag Penguins, who didn't have Malkin, they didn't have Crosby. A lot of Gensel was out as well. They beat the Lightning 6-2, 3 empty netters after the Lightning raised their cup banner. First goal of the NHL season went to former Bruin, Dan Heinen, for Pittsburgh, scoring on a bad play by Vasilevsky behind the net. Pretty much freed the net open for him. But Penguins, very impressive win. To not have those guys and still win.
He was the best winner, right?
Vasilevsky?
Yeah.
He's the best goalie in the league, in my opinion, but not a great night for him. And it's hard to play in that environment. I think the emotions and stuff, getting the cup banner raised, especially last season, not having full arena, they just didn't have it. And I think a lot of teams that played their first game after winning the cup at home, it's hard. But then the second game was electric. Great game. Vegas beat Seattle. Seattle's first game in franchise history. They were down 3-1. They came back, tied it, and like 5 seconds later, Vegas scored on a questionable kicking of the skate by Chandler Stevenson. I think that shouldn't have been a goal, but they called it a goal, and Ryan Donato had the first goal in Kraken history.
Did you see the opening to this game?
Yeah, it's absurd. I mean, Vegas is just a great place to have a hockey team.
Like, I mean, they have the Kraken come out of the water, and then the night skates, the center ice.
Yes,
pulverizes the Kraken. Now, the question is, are they going to do that to every team? They're going to make the mascot like somehow,
I feel like they would.
Like, I mean, when they play Boston, is there like going to be a big bear that comes out of the woods and the night comes out? Or,
why not? I would do it.
I don't know what they would do with the Blues. Like, is it just a music note going to come out?
Well, we got Louis, the mascot, the big blue thing or whatever. He could just throw him out there on the thing, and we'll see. But that was an electric game, and Vegas is just like I said, a really good place to have a team. It's really worked out. I think Seattle's going to work out well, too. And we'll see. I think the next game for Seattle is Nashville, so a little bit of a less electric matchup for them. But, all right, let's see. The Rangers allowing agent of young forward Vitaly Kravtsov to explore trades. He doesn't make the opening roster. Young Russian player, big prospect for them. They want a top 6 talent in return, which is ridiculous. I don't know if that'll happen. But you also have Chicago shopping Dylan Strome, top 6 forward there, so maybe that happens. Kravtsov
is that because Chicago realizes they made a huge deal on Seth Jones and they need money or they need cap space?
Yeah, I don't know if it's for cap space or not. I haven't really looked into that. All I know is that their forward group's good. So
I mean, you know what I mean. Yeah. They know they made a dumb signing
Seth Jones
there.
Is terrible, yeah. We'll see if Seth Jones bounces back. I mean, he's good. He's been good in the past, but I don't know. But I came prepared with some futures here that I have Some futures that I like for this season, a list here. I like the Jets plus 4,500 to win the Cup. I think that's a good number. Also, I think it's a little disrespectful to have the Blackhawks have better odds than the Blues, who I also like plus 5,000. Good value there to win the Cup. I'm not saying that either of them will win because I doubt it, but that's a high number.
Who
I also
are the
like
top three favorites?
I believe it is Colorado is the favorite, then Tampa, then Vegas, I believe.
I wonder where Boston's at.
I think they're somewhere in the 5 or 6 or 7 range, but somewhere around there. I also like the Canes plus 145 to get over 100 points. I like the Islanders plus 270 to miss the playoffs. I'm like the only person that thinks they won't make it, and I'm just going to go with it, so whatever. I also like the Canucks plus 170, which is a very high number to me to make the playoffs. The Canucks are easily one of the best teams in that division. They should make it, plus 170 to make it.
Is there still only the Canadians playing? It's all open now, right?
Yeah, it's Atlantic, Metro, Pacific.
It's back
Central.
to the normal.
Yeah, top 3 in each division get in, 2 wild cards in the conferences. So there you go. I like Patrick Kane over 31.5 goals at minus 115. I think he's going to light the lamp many times.
I'll take the under.
I like Patrice Bergeron under 34.5 goals. I think 34.5 is a little high for him. I think he's more like 28 to 32.
Yeah, he'll get.
And Pasta and Marchand are going to score a lot too. I think Marchand's number is like 37.5 and Pasternak is like 40 something.
Yeah, Bergeron will probably get around 60 to 70 points.
Yeah, and I think like 28 goals and 50 plus assists, or 45 to 50 assists is probably where I would like that. I like Robin Lehner plus 1,500 to win the Vezina. Artemi Panarin plus 1,600 to win the Hart. Ovechkin plus 1,200 is the top goal scorer, which is disrespectful that he's tied for third in odds for league's top goal scorer behind Matthews and who is the other one? Pasternak and Ovechkin are both plus 1,200, which is insane to me. I think they're
where's McDavid?
Was it McDavid that was second? I can't remember now. I'm going to look here because I think it's disrespectful to have Ovi plus 1,200. That's a little high. So I like that number a lot.
He's getting up there.
Yeah, but he's so consistent and doesn't really get hurt. I know he's questionable for tonight's game, but let me see if I can find this here. Come on. Where are the full season props? Here we go. Okay. As league's top goal scorer. Now I lost it again. Whatever. My other one was Alex Pietrangelo plus 2,000 to win the Norris Trophy. So there you go with those. I think it might have been McKinnon who was second in the over-under goals, but I can't find it now. And then also Alex Newhook plus 2,500 to win the Calder, and your boy Jeremy Swayman plus 2,200 to win the Calder. So those are my NHL futures and props for the season. Let's have a good season. And now we have the new top 25 in college football, which has seen some significant changes after some of the losses. We saw Penn State going down. We saw Alabama go down. We saw Oklahoma almost go down. What a crazy week.
I don't know if you could say Penn State went down. I mean, they played – it was 3 versus 4.
They would have won if Clifford didn't get hurt, I think.
And it was at Iowa.
Yeah.
But you got Georgia taking over number 1, moving up 1. Iowa moving up 1 to number 2. Cincinnati is at 3. They moved up 2. Oklahoma goes up 2 to number 4. Alabama drops 4 to number 5. Ohio State goes up 1 to 6. Penn State drops 3 to 7. Michigan goes up 1 to 8. I don't know how they're not ahead of Penn State and Ohio State. I mean, they haven't lost. Oregon drops 1 to 9. Michigan State goes up 1 to 10. Kentucky goes up 5 to number 11. Oklahoma State stays put at 12. Ole Miss jumps up 4 to number 13. Notre Dame stays put at 14. Coastal Carolina stays at 15. So I don't know if this is their peak of where they're going to get to after we talked about last week, how far they can climb.
I still think it can go a little higher.
Wake Forest. Wake Forest goes up 3-16. Arkansas drops 4 to number 17. Arizona State goes up 4-18. BYU drops 9-19. Florida State's put at 20. Texas A&M jumps to 21 after being not unranked. NC State goes up 1-22. SMU goes up 1-23. San Diego State goes up 1-24. And Texas drops 4 spots to number 25 after losing to Oklahoma. I don't know how Oklahoma is not ahead of Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's been very unimpressive. Very unimpressive. Like, they should not have won.
But, I mean, you have is Cincinnati in the Big East, or are they in the American?
Cincinnati is in the American.
So you have an American team.
They're good.
Over a
really
Big
good.
12 team.
I think their resume is better. They beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, but Notre Dame's looked up and down all year.
I mean, who's Oklahoma beat, though, you know? I mean, Texas choked that game completely. Oklahoma had to bench their quarterback to win that game. Oklahoma barely beat Kansas State.
They took
Tulane.
Spencer Rattler out?
Yeah, and they brought in Caleb Williams, and he dominated. And now there's a big quarterback controversy. Oklahoma canceled their media availability because they don't want to talk about it, I guess. So, yeah. And how Texas is still ranked after that choke job is an embarrassment. I don't care who they're playing. They were literally up 38-17 in the third quarter. It's really bad. But anyway, let's do the picks, which are brought to you by nobody.
What'd you do last week?
11-9 week for me. Solid in the college football, 5-3, 4-4 in the NFL, 2-2 in Major League Baseball, 0-5 at the Shriners.
I was 10-10. Yeah, I was 0-5 in the Shriners, 1-3 in baseball, 4-4 in college football. The one that really killed me was about a kick in the nuts. Was I had Michigan minus 3.5. They lost by 3.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Or they won, but they only won by 3. Over
some weird calls down the stretch in that game too.
So Taylor Wan's probably rubbing it in to Will Compton's face, so there's probably a bet made there.
Yeah.
And then I was 5-3 in football.
All right.
So I'm 146 and 132.
Yeah, I'm 143 and 130. So
nearly the same. My lead.
Nearly the same winning percentage. I'm not too far behind. I think I'm going to get hot this week, even though I have some. I don't really like my picks this week, but we're going to go with it.
I like mine.
All right, CJ Cup to win. I like Morikawa plus 1,600, Spieth plus 2,000, Fleetwood plus 5,000. To finish top 5, I like Burns plus 450. And last 2 weeks of winners I'm picking here. Last week's winner to finish top 10, Sung Jae plus 260.
I have Dustin Johnson plus 1,000, Rory plus 1,600, and Morikawa plus 1,600. Top 5, I have Spieth at plus 450. And top 10, I think this guy's got to get back in here, is Louis O at plus 200.
Yeah, he tends to finish well in most of the tournaments he plays, so we'll see. And he's playing with Koepka, Spieth for the first 2 days, so that should get him all ready to go, playing with some of the better players in the world. College football week 8, my Power 5 conference games. In the Big Ten, I like a bit of a letdown from Iowa. I think Purdue can cover plus 11 at Iowa. Give me Texas Tech minus 16.5 in the Big 12 at Kansas over a bad Kansas team. Give me Pittsburgh minus 5 at Virginia Tech in the ACC. Give me Florida minus 10.5 at an LSU team that looks brutal in the SEC. And then the Pac-12, give me Washington State plus 1 against Stanford.
I have in the ACC, I have Virginia Tech plus 5 against Pittsburgh. It's hard to play at Virginia Tech. They get they get Enter Sandman going. That stadium gets rocking. On the Big 12, I have Iowa State minus 6.5 at Kansas State. My Big 10, I have Army plus 14 at Wisconsin. I think it's a big spread for Wisconsin. And Army's 4-1, and I think they can control that game with their option.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Pac-12, I have Arizona State over Utah, which was a pick'em. It's an even. In the SEC, I have Auburn at Arkansas. I have Arkansas minus 4.5.
All right, then we have our
primetime games. We got number 12 Oklahoma State versus number 25 Texas. I'm taking Oklahoma State plus 5.
I will take Texas minus 5 to bounce back, even though I never trust Texas. I am going to go with it. So, yeah.
Game 2 of our prime time is number 11 Kentucky versus number 1 Georgia. I'm taking Kentucky plus 23.
I also like Kentucky plus the 23. I think that if you look at the way Georgia's played, as good as their defense is, I don't think they've faced a team as good as Kentucky to this point. So I think that they can cover that. I don't think they win.
Wow, Georgia, who'd they play?
Arkansas.
No, at the beginning of the season.
Clemson. Clemson's bad.
Yeah, but And then game 3, we got number 13 Ole Miss at Tennessee. I'm taking Ole Miss minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. I think that Ole Miss is much better than Tennessee. So there you go.
And then baseball.
Boom.
We got the Giants and Dodgers tomorrow. I'm taking the Giants minus 110.
I'll take the Dodgers minus 110.
Yeah, because they were both the same.
Yep.
And then Friday we got Boston against Houston. I'm taking Boston plus 130.
Yeah, I'll take Boston as well. I don't love it because Houston's so good at home, but we'll see.
NHL.
2 picks for tonight.
Wait, tonight or tomorrow?
Well, I picked for tonight, but we could do it for tomorrow.
I picked tomorrow.
Why don't we just your picks for tomorrow? I'll make picks for tonight. Yeah.
So you go ahead with yours for tonight.
I like the game that's about to start about 40 minutes from when we are here now. The Rangers plus 100 at the Capitals, and then later tonight, the Oilers minus 190 against the Canucks.
And tomorrow I have the Leafs minus 170 over Ottawa and Vegas minus 155 over the Kings.
All right, that gets us to the NFL.
Thursday night football, we got the Bucks at Philly. I'm taking the Bucks minus 7.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks. I got it at 6.5. I'm going to go with it, and I don't think they lose.
I'm gonna make it 6.5 then.
Yeah.
And Gronk might be playing.
I don't even think it matters. I think the Eagles, as good as Hurts has been, I don't see it. Maybe. You
got to think too. The Bucks, their corners are hurt. Richard Sherman is still trying to learn the defense, and he's trying to get in game shape still. He's still slow.
And I know Brady's got a bit of a thumb issue or something, so maybe he won't have the greatest game.
Godwin is questionable to play.
This could be a letdown spot for the Bucks, but I'm going to trust him. 5 pick Sunday.
Sunday, let's just do Sunday night football and Seahawks at Steelers.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick a Geno Smith-led team, so I'll take the Steelers minus 5.
I'm taking the Seahawks plus 5.
Monday Night Football.
Bills at Titans. I got the Bills minus 5.5.
Me too. Bills are winning this game probably by a lot. And then we have 5 pick Sunday, so just go ahead with your 5 picks.
I got the Vikings at Carolina. I got Carolina plus 1. I don't know how the Vikings are the favorite in this game.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's not there, but you're playing at Carolina.
McCaffrey could be there. He is questionable. He could be there.
The defense, Carolina's defense still looks good.
Yep.
Stephon Gilmore now has another week under his belt there. Then I have the Chargers at Baltimore. I'm taking the Chargers plus 3. I got the Cardinals at Cleveland. I got the Cardinals plus 3. Yeah, I know they've gotten a bunch of close games lately, but I still don't know how they're not the favorite in that game.
Road game against a good team. It's tough.
I got the Rams at the Giants. I'm taking the Rams minus 9.5.
Big number.
And then lastly, the Raiders at the Broncos. I think the Raiders' new coach is going to open up the offense a little more. and I'm taking the Raiders plus 3.5.
All right, I'll take the Chiefs minus 6.5 against the Washington football team. I will take the Chargers plus 3 at the Ravens. I will take the Browns minus 3 against the Cardinals, the Jaguars plus 3 against the Dolphins, and the Bengals minus 3.5 at the Lions. So
I didn't want to touch that Jacksonville-Miami game.
Yeah, I'd just say screw it. I don't know. I didn't want to pick the Packer-Bear game or the Rams-Giants game, so I just kind of went with that. And also, before we get out, just I was looking at DraftKings Sportsbook, and just want to throw a couple Premier League picks at you for Saturday and Sunday's matchups. Leicester City, Manchester United, plus 260 draw. Take that. And then my boys, who I root for, Chelsea, minus 170 against Brentford. Big spot. If Pulisic is back, big spot. So there you go. Premier League picks. Maybe we'll make that a staple. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for us. We'll be back next Wednesday, the 34th, and we'll do our picks and all that, and we'll see you then.